The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. This is Charlie Delta trading session for September 14th, September 24th, 2019. I'm Todd Grosskreutz. Today we will be taking questions for Charlie Delta Trading and all things related to it. Hope everybody's having a good day today. Can everybody hear me? Getting green bars, so we're looking good. Let's jump right in and get this out of the way. Generally, we'll get a few people on afterwards that have been on and seen it more than once. All right, what do we got here? We got risk warning and trading disclaimer. Trading foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors or traders. There are no guarantees of profit, and most Forex traders lose money trading. Past performance is not indicative of future results. The high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you. Before deciding to invest in foreign exchange, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should only invest money that you can afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts or uncertainties. This presentation and all of its content, including past trades and potential trade setups, is for educational and informational purposes only. Using any strategies, techniques, or software mentioned in this presentation is also risky. We make no guarantees of profit of any kind. The presenter is not a licensed financial professional and therefore will not give any financial advice or recommendations. All information in this presentation is our opinion and may not reflect the truth or reality in the world of trading. Please use your own good judgment and seek advice from a qualified consultant before believing, accepting, and acting upon any information in this presentation. This is not a solicitation to invest. Hypothetical performance results may have inherent limitations, some of which are described below. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical performance results and the actual trading results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally prepared with the benefit of hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading record can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or to adhere to a particular trading program in spite of trading losses are material points, which can also adversely affect actual trading results. There are numerous other factors related to the markets in general, or to the implementation of any specific trading program which cannot be fully accounted for in the preparation of hypothetical performance results, and all of which can adversely affect actual trading results. All right, we got that out of the way. Here is our schedule for the week. Medium. Mac, you're on. Good morning. Anybody that you know is not going down this week? I didn't jump on and look at that quick. So we're on Tuesday. We are right here. Boom, boom. And we got Josh Grellner doing Pitchforks later today. Dallas covering some brokers and VPS settings setup if you're using EA software. And then later in the day, we also have Clay Taylor doing intermediate waveology, wedges, etc. So good day today. For some reason, if you can make it live, great. Bring your questions. If not, they are posted in the Scans, Forks, Fibos, and Waveology group, usually the next day. So, but as far as I know, I think everybody's on for the week. Not sure about Tim here, but we'll go with it. There is a post under announcements in Scans, Forks, Fibology. It's early today. the SFFW group, so you can check in there. All right, so we're up to the black screen. We got Charlie Delta Trading. So we've got CDX, we've got XA. And we'll maybe look at a little BS today, but so you got what are your questions today? Answer your questions and then we'll move on with our day. Questions. Oh, you must be typing big, long questions because I don't see any questions in the box yet. There we go. Now they're coming in. Couple good questions. Rowan had the first one. Do you have a specific scan you roll out, as in sharks, etc.? I do myself. I do not. I have my notifications set up to take the sharks out. I don't do the ciphers either. So the sharks there's enough other ones that you don't need the sharks, and you always have a bigger reversal zone. When you look at the data and the success behind them, generally they're not as strong. Gartley is probably the most consistent pattern. Whether you're doing CD, C alerts, or from the D, the Gartley just has higher percentages than the other ones. So, but that doesn't mean a bat or a crab is bad. But I do stay away from the sharks. So good question on that. And I know Steve has mentioned in previous training, and it's kind of where I picked up on it, is he doesn't generally work with the sharks either. Again, there's enough other patterns out there to work with to get hits on them. All right, next question. Yes, so Spencer asked, do you use ox or fibonelles within the fork or alternate between the two to get best alignment? Yes. Depends on the size of the fork, though. If I'm doing 5-minute, generally don't need to. It's just gonna be too tight. But you get a decent sized 15-minute fork or 30-minute scan, and you're putting the fork on it. Yeah, using ox or fibonelles is a good way to set a fork, especially if it's longer. But generally that's going to be if it's further down the line, because if you're doing CDX, it's CDX, and if you're doing XA, you should be doing a D touch or a C touch. So at that point, we're not needing the fibonelles. But if you have something that's the XA has been there for 50 candles, 60 candles, or whatever, you can use the fibonelles, and they go over that in the pitchfork courses also. Josh usually touches on that in his intermediate. So, but the purpose of Charlie Delta trading is to keep it easier. And you will get the touches, you will get the hits, and you don't have to use your RAS to try to say, hey, this Fibonacci, these 3 Fibonacci bounces is the right thing, because we still go back to, the qualifying a fork is off the upper parallel, lower parallel, and the median. 2 touches, third is tradable. So, that especially on a smaller fork, we want those good direct hits. So, but good question there. Fly this in here. So generally, when I get up in the morning on Charlie Delta days, I try to find a decent fork to look at. It usually only takes a few minutes. This is a little 5-minute scan, and if you look at the CD, kind of blew up, blew past. It was small. It was the CD leg was 51, like 7 pips originally, but it had a nice XA on it. It's one where the scanner didn't use the whole leg. But I set it on the C. I blew it up, so it's pretty much a direct. It is a direct touch on the C, and then you just sit and wait. And let's say you came to the chart here. Even if you came to the chart here, it really played with this. This is a 1.5 warning line here, kind of playing around. All of a sudden, it makes a pass and a check on the lower parallel, and away you go. So 5-minute chart, you can see it went up. This was pretty good. Some pretty good interaction here. Between that and this, enough to say, hey, this is, fork is respected. But this is really what you're waiting for here. Goes up, bumps, pulls back a little bit, blows up, comes back, checks it again, right? And then takes off again to the upper parallel. So from this point on, really, really strong, accurate movement. And the 5-minute forks generally, just because you're busting more candles, don't last that long. They can. I mean, you could come back to this thing 4 days later and price moves out of it, comes back into it. But you look at, this is midnight here. So all of this interaction happened in 6 hours time. And let's see, let's turn it on. This is the 13 right here. This is the 62 EMA in here. Where does it go? It's hard to see here. Comes through, but here's the 13 right here. So you're coming out of a cross. It comes back, and there's an energy point right there. Sure. Let's put a Fibbo retracement on it. We worked with that a little bit last week also. Let's see, let's turn that on. I don't know what my prices are on that. I like the prices right. There we go. I think that was pretty tight on that X. Yeah. So what do we got? This candle here, 1333, within close enough to call an energy point there. That's on that pass and check, basically. It came down just a little bit lower. It was right in between the two. Let's see what we got down here. We hit right here. Again, a great way to create energy points. Especially on a fork this size, because you're going to have interaction. And This is just the basic here. There's other values that Steve gives out, in the 0 to 1. Right there. That hits in, it's not hitting like 125 right there, but energy point 13 in the 1, right? That's basically the X value. So, Jed, that's not a fork trade, maybe a trade, 5-minute retrace extreme trade. I like that. One 618 was over here. Generally going to hit the 1618 at some point. Couldn't tell you on a harmonic target. That thing blasted up pretty good. Went almost to the 3618. It just gives you an idea of the power, right? Off this one little swing here, we're able to gather that much data. This little area here is the strongest spot on there, I think. I like that. Take that off. There we go. And that's on the JPY, the yen. It's wicky in here, of course. In this area, even back to here. About the time that it decided to bounce here is when it kind of decided, hey, we're going to make a move. Any other questions? Good questions, though. Let's make this white, see what we got. Sometimes you'll catch a good. It just wasn't a great fork. Yeah, I didn't really catch much going up that way. Not much going on that side. Had a close there, but then it came back and checked it and took off. But when I'm not getting any hits in here, even though it's CDX, you want to see some compliance, and so it builds your confidence in it. All right, looks like that could be a higher time frame W. Yeah, I mean, it's a W on this time frame. Good eye, though. I mean, you're looking for them, right? Price pulls down, up, zigzag, snap back, whatever you want to call it. Kind of breaking out a little bit. I've kind of been playing around before that. Is there a limit on the warning lines you will go? Not really. I mean, you get past 8, you're getting out there, but a lot of it depends on how good of compliance you've had previously. If it's been a great fork and there's been great compliance on it, you're willing to reach out further. If you haven't had much compliance, why try to make a trade out there? Your first 3 or 4 to me are like, they're gold as far as possibilities. It's all trader's choice on that, but again, a lot of it has to do with compliance. If it's a CDX fork, that there's no fuzz in there, right, or fudge. It's because you're using a magnet to set all 3 points if you check them. But if you've got good compliance, use them. A lot of times you'll do it, to create an energy point where you have a CDX and the XA crossing, and you can pick it up with a warning line to create that cross. So just taking a look at this swing, just out of curiosity. Not really. There was a little bit went right up to the median here, but What do you think on Mac? You teach the pitchforks, but beginner warning lines. Any Macs you would use on that? See if she's paying attention. GU went on blast this morning, so. Couldn't hear the question. When it comes to warning lines, how far out do you go? Is there a limit to how far out you go? No answer. She's getting her kids ready for school. Here, I mean, this is a small fork, but look at this. I mean, it comes down, it kind of dances around, right, and takes off. But I mean, crazy how these things hit. And it's funny because as traders, we find other ways to go and make up trades, but there really are, using the scanner, they're brought right to you. It's just a matter of the patience of waiting for them to come and knowing how to set it up. It's not complex, right? And knowing that, this is going to be, you get a pull down like that, that's harmonic wave convergence there on some time frame. Right at the bottom of that fork. So that's a strong move. So Max says she does not limit otherwise if you're getting good touches. So it echoes what I was saying, though. You want compliance in the fork, but normally around 7 or 8. So that kind of said the same thing. You get out past 8, and it kind of no man's land. And a lot of it depends on the steepness of the fork also. If you're too steep, it just becomes harder to catch that angle. But if you're not real steep and it's just kind of a trending market and you're getting good compliance, Yeah, they're just as strong as if you think of it, a 1-0 warning line is like another upper parallel, basically, or lower parallel, depending on which side of it you're on. Any other questions? Got a little smaller group today, so not as many questions. Keeping it going. Spencer, Rowan, you guys always do a good job of coming with your questions. Sounds like I'm getting a little rain here outside. What's the highest time frame you would look at, and would be the specific CDX fork be fractal and show up on lower time frames if it is more advanced? You can do 4-hour scans. They're huge. That's where your Fibonels are going to be your smaller time frame hits, like on a 4-hour fork. If you run an Ox or Fibonels, those might be 15-minute harmonic wave convergences, or 30-minute even. The 30-minute scans are nice. 1 hour if they're not too big. But generally, if you're doing a 30-minute scan, you're looking for hits on the 30-minute scan, and then you're using tab 29 or FAST 33 to confirm at that point. So you're going to have less interaction, but bigger moves when they do interact, potentially. So you want to, if you're trading 30-minute scans, you want to be on the 30-minute chart. You can, of course, you can go down to the 1 minute for execution, but generally you want to keep your scans on the same time frame that if it's a 30-minute scan, you want to be doing a 30-minute fork on a 30-minute chart. Let's see. If you have a scan that has good hits and then the good hits stop, would you move the fork position or just move on? Generally, just move on. If it's just off, advanced forkology, if you will, sometimes after 60, 80, 100 candles, you'll get just a little bit of an offset where you start to notice, hey, if I move this fork just a little bit, at that point it's really not CDX or Charlie Delta. So a lot of it depends on what are you trading, just trying to make it easy on your RAS. There are plenty of CDX trades out there. So, trader's choice on that, but it may be, you only trade one pair and you're going to have a 5-minute fork on that pair if you're trading 5-minute. And so you're trying to make it quote unquote fit a little more feverishly. But it's just as easy to go and find another, another CDX or XA fork. Mackenzie brings up a good point. For the beginners, she usually suggests to stay within the fork and look for new forks if it proceeds to leave. So at the same time, throwing a 1-5 warning line on there, or even 2-0, not that big a deal. So, Zoe's here. Hey, Zoe. Did you catch GU on blast today? All right, any other questions? Before we wrap up, we don't want Zoe to catch too much of this. Da, 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 da. When is Zoe teaching? If you knew the amount of work Zoe does, I think she works harder than the instructors do. She's the one that takes care of all the details and keeps things keeps us in line. So everybody needs a good Zoe. Keep things rolling. She said she will teach when her kids grow up. She's got a tribe of 3 kids, so that keeps in. Max got a tribe also. I cheesed out. I went for the one route is all. Do you transfer scans to the TradingView platform or work them on the harmonic scanner? I transfer them to TradingView. I'll work with, the nice thing about the scanner and your login is it saves what you're doing. But if I have one that I'm interested in, I definitely take it to TradingView so I can use tab 29 as a confirmation on it. And this right here is a pretty strong move at 32, 48, 20 pips. So if you were going to trade that bounce there, you want to make sure that the fork's moving away from us pretty fast. It's generally not one that I'm a fan of. I'd be looking more here to come back down, because if we enter here, when it retests this fork, we're 2 pips lower already, so it's moving away from us. All right, if that's all the questions we have, we will put a wrap on this at a half hour today. Let's see, do you keep recent forks on the screen for your whole trading day? Yeah, I mean, good or bad, I'm not big on leaving them on my screen long term, especially a 5-minute. I mean, 30-minute, obviously, it's going to take days or a week to really play out. I know Steve and like Clay, they'll keep forks on their charts for a long time, and all of a sudden, boom, price comes rolling back into it. If I'm set this fork up on my chart and I'm looking to trade it, it's a 5-minute fork. It's definitely going to be on my chart during that session. Which is generally, I trade till the end of New York or the end of London, noon Eastern. So, good question though. It's free to keep it there. It's a little bit on your RAS to navigate around it, but if I'm trading Charlie Delta Forks, that's going to be my my guiding light for that session. So, I'm looking for that nice bounce off of here, at some type of convergence. So, all right, let's throw. I'm gonna have to get that out of the way. Throw the disclaimer up one last time. Thank you guys for coming today. Thanks for your questions. As always, it's what fuels the sessions. Nothing overly in depth today, but it's not. Charlie Delta Trading is a keep it simple, stupid methodology to finding trades. So the harder we make it, we're doing that to ourselves. It wasn't designed it was designed to be easy on our RAS. So you're welcome. For those of you saying thanks, and enjoy the rest of your day. Tomorrow I will be on same time with Power 62. So have a good one.